Hello and welcome to this episode of Miriam the Librarian Reviews. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at how to get off the beaten path. That's right, how to find nature and go to places that you haven't been before. It's really easy, and there's so many beautiful places right in our backyard in Riverside. If not in Riverside, definitely Southern California. So I'm going to go over some books that will show you some different spots that you might have never heard of and may be interested in finding out. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to be talking about some apps that will help you find more about your surroundings when you do go off the beaten path, such as apps that identify birds and plants and different things. So if you're interested in that, I would say stick around. So for our first book that we're going to talk about, it's called Weird California. Weird California will definitely get you off the beaten path. This has so many good pieces of knowledge, things that you would never have thought of, and they're very close by. Some of them a few miles away, some of them 20 or 50 miles away, which would be a short drive from Riverside. So I'm going to go over some of the things that I found most appealing and interesting. The first one was The Mystery of the Riverside Bridge Monster. The Riverside Bridge Monster is an old folk tale about a monster that lives under the bridge in Riverside by the Santa Ana River. So if you want to learn more about this or visit the bridge, that would be in the book as well. Another thing that really stood out to me was the Watts Tower. This is up in LA. The Watts Tower is really interesting. It's super tall and it's made of different metals, recycled material. You could spend the whole day there. It would be really interesting to look at. Now my favorite one and my favorite part of this book is called Roadside Distractions. So instead of roadside attractions, it's distractions. And they talk about dinosaurs and different legends and Greek mythology. The one I really liked was the big donut, the Randy's donut up in LA, or a big hot dog that you could find up there too. So if you're interested in finding some weird, interesting things about LA, Riverside, Southern California, I would highly suggest Weird California. You can't go wrong with this book, especially if you want to get off the beaten path. So another great book that I found was 100 Things to Do in Riverside, California Before You Die. These things are definitely must-do on your list. The first one that was really interesting was the Botanical Gardens at UC Riverside. The Botanical Gardens at UC Riverside are amazing. They have over 3,000 plant species that you could walk around, take pictures. Another great part of Riverside that I would go look at is Mount Rubidoux. Mount Rubidoux is also by Bonamino Park. It has a 35-foot tall cross, and it has been open since 1909. So if you like to go hiking or go and see beautiful views of Southern California, Inland Empire, I would say go to Mount Rubidoux. Another one is the Marchfield Air Museum. So the Marchfield Air Museum has over 70 restored planes, and they also have very historical features and artifacts. Bob Hope would go there all the time. The March Airfield Museum has been around since 1919. They also have special events. So if you're into planes, military history, or just want to see something really amazing outdoors, I would try the March Air Museum. Another section is the California Citrus State Park. The California Citrus State Park has 5,000 years of history. It's where the oranges were first developed, and they have 75 types of citruses. So the California Citrus Historic State Park would be a definite on your must-do list. And finally, the Riverside Sports Hall of Fame. That's right, there's a Sports Hall of Fame right here in Riverside. So if you want to go and see what famous athletes came from Riverside and the surrounding area, I would go visit the Riverside Sports Hall of Fame. Of course, there's so many more beautiful things to see in Riverside. There's the Mission Inn. There's, of course, the glorious, wonderful downtown main library that just opened up with 40-feet windows, and then you have the Riverside Museum and many more things. Also, the Cheech Museum will be opening soon, but this book is a good start. This is 100 Things to Do in Riverside, California, and it would just be right in your backyard, just a few miles away, low or no cost to see. And finally, we also have our books on the national parks. Now, the national parks, we know, are such a glorious part of our United States and of our nature. What we have in here are parks about Yosemite, Shasta, all the mountain ranges. There's maps. There's so many things to do. If you're not sure where to start, I would try to check out this book. It talks about all the national parks, Death Valley, how to get there, what to expect, the beautiful monuments, everything is in this book. Of course, you could find a lot of this online as well. So for this portion of the video, I'm going to wrap up just saying that we have so many books on how to visit the outdoors and enjoy this beautiful land of Southern California Inland Empire. I'm going to also now highlight some apps and websites that you can go to that would give you more information, up-to-date entry, fees, and all those sorts of things. So if you want to learn more about that, stick around. So here we have the Merlin Cornell Lab Bird app. The Bird app can identify over 8,000 species of birds in the world. It's super easy to use, and it was developed by a premier educational university, Cornell University, in the state of New York. The Bird app can help you identify birds just by taking a picture or even by the sounds. The Bird app is super easy to download on your Google Play or your Apple Store, and it's totally free. So we're just going to go over some of the features it has, so when you're on your nature walk, looking around and you see a bird, you can know exactly where it's from. The Cornell Lab will be able to identify it for you in no time. When we look at the app, we see 3 little lines on the left-hand side. The 3 little lines, when you click on it, you could click Home, Start Bird ID, Sound ID, all different ones. Also make sure you have your location services on your device. So what we did is we made sure that we double-checked and we made sure we're in Riverside. We clicked on what birds are in Riverside, and there was a whole list. We wanted to sort by family, so we clicked on family and then we clicked done. Once we did that, then the bird list will come up. The first one was the Canada goose. The Canada goose is a very native of Northern America, but is it uncommon in Riverside, as you could see. It's uncommon. You could look at the pictures and you could also hear some sounds. You could hear the call sounds if you hit call, and it would give you how they sound when they're making calls to other birds. It even tells you when it was made, in 1996. The other bird was a wood duck. Now, if you saw a wood duck in Riverside, that would be extremely rare, as you can see. You can also see the calls that it made. This recording was also taken a while ago. Another thing you could look at is you could explore the different surroundings that birds have. If you want to scroll down, you could see all the different types that we have, and you could see if they were rare or if they're common just by that little button at the end of their name. Red usually means rare, but it doesn't mean you can never see them. Another way you could explore birds is just by finding out what they look like. So here we're going to click on Start. What kind of bird did you see? We saw him in Riverside. And then when did we see him? We saw him today. What was the size? It was a crow size, so I clicked crow size. After that, I clicked what color it was, which was yellow. And then it says, where did I see him? I said, on a fence or a wire. After that, it's giving me a list of possible birds. Cooper's hawk, yeah, it could be a bird. If it was your bird, you would click on the little button, or a band-tailed pigeon, or a great-tailed grackle, or a northern flicker. You could find out more about it as there's a little synopsis. If you really want to get into this bird app, you could also create an account so you could save your pictures and the birds that you've seen. This app is pretty amazing. It shows everything about birds. It can identify it in every way. So we hope you enjoy this bird app. And there's one more app that I'll show you, so when you're on your nature walk off the beaten path, you can use it. The next app we're going to try is called iNaturalist. iNaturalist is one of the best nature identification apps for nature lovers. You can identify all sorts of things with iNaturalist app. This one is called Seek. It's a free app that you could download from Google Play or your Apple Store. I put my location services on and I put Riverside. In Riverside, I picked fish. When I did that, all the fish that come close near Riverside or are in Riverside came up. The next thing I picked was reptile. Reptiles in Riverside are very common. You could even look at the range maps. Other people who have iNaturalist who have found these lizard alligators put it on the map, as you can see, with the little green dot. Very interesting. Once you create an account, you can put what you've seen in nature on the iNaturalist app. It tells you the seasonality. Looks like April is when they really hang around. And it also gives you some wonderful pictures just in case you're not sure. So if you scroll down, you could see you could log in. That's where you would put your pictures. And then if you want to try to look for other animals, you would click on the little bar on top and you could click other animals that you would like to see. So the next one I clicked on was mammals. Look at all these mammals that popped up. I scrolled through and I wanted to see bobcats. Are there any bobcats in the area? Well, it looks like they have seen bobcats in the area, especially on the upper side of Riverside. I could put in my observations or I could just see what other people have seen. After bobcat, I picked another category. I wanted to see plants. What are the plants in the Riverside area? So I scrolled through and I wanted to see, do they have any desert dandelions in Riverside? It doesn't look like it. Looks like the closest would be Palm Springs. But if you did see one, you would put it on the iNaturalist website. Engelmann's hedge-cut cactus as well is not native of Riverside, but it is in the Inland Empire and Southern California. So this app is pretty amazing. I would say try to download it. When you're on your nature walk, you could identify plants and you could see what they're all about. And again, these are free apps that you could find and put them on your device. Thanks again for joining me for this episode of Miriam the Librarian Reviews, and we hope you have a great day. And don't forget, just get on off that beaten path and you'll be surprised in what you find. Bye-bye, everybody.